Welcome to the B2T Show, where we empower Christian patriots with truth. This is Rick, your host. All right. It's like my camera's not working now. Should have tested that beforehand when it was going on with the camera. Oh, I know. I have it behind my computer and closed off. How you guys doing there? So you can tell I have so many pieces of equipment now. So pretty cool stuff here. Welcome to this episode on April 15th. This is normally tax day, but now it's not taxes. We got a couple more months for that, don't we? So pretty cool stuff. I'm going to mute everybody on backstage. Please stay muted there as we get rolling here. Now, we have over 500 people on already. What an exciting time. We're going to talk about the Cabal Takedown. This is the Gideon's army, one of the favorite stories in the Bible. We're going to be talking about that on a gene decode, and also obviously there's a bunch of new Q as well we'll be going over. I see people have been on for quite a while because I got this started, but Lou came on first. So thank you for being the moderator, and Co-Sensi, and appreciate you guys being the moderator. Do appreciate that so much. If Congress doesn't vote Trump nominees, he will take action. That's exactly right. That's one of the big bombs that came today. I love it. I love it how he is using this situation that is designed to take him down to basically further the patriot movement. You gotta love it. And so pretty cool. Well, Crystal says Jesus sent me. I love it. I love it. Tucson, Arizona, Michigan in the house. Where else are you guys from? I see New Zealand, Nevada, Virginia. Really appreciate you guys all joining here. It is awesome. Lewis from New Zealand as well. So let's get rolling. Over 700 people. I love it. That's an early big deal. I know that people love to hear from Gene, so we're going to try to get through this decode relatively quickly here. And you can see this. Well, I'm going to refresh just because Q's been pretty active here. So we're looking at ones that started on the 15th here. I'm kind of rolling back. This time I do have, there we go. And so you can see he posted 7 or 8 times here. So there's the one on the 14th. So the latest one was 3963. And we saw the Director of General of the World Health Organization and Shiva, the destroyer / creator. Obviously the emphasis there is that's also at CERN. It's also at the World Health Organization. Scary stuff. So the first one's 3964. We'll get into that in just a second. I did want to talk a little bit about one of the major things that happened. This is Brand Medic saying POTUS threatens Congress with a forced adjournment in order to fill vacancies that Congress hasn't approved. And I just love it how all these asleep Americans who have not watched much of politics because they're sports fans or they're Netflix binge fans or whatever, right? And now they're watching Trump, and he just slammed Congress and for the fact that they have been slow rolling his nominees for 2.5 years, almost 3 years. Crazy stuff going on. And here's a picture of Barr saying, "What can I say? Half of Congress is going to Gitmo," which is, we hope that actually happens. And then you see this article right here. So that what is the Daily Beast going to say when they were suggesting Barack Obama needs to force Congress into recess to make appointments? So here's Obama should overrule Republicans to make appointments. They've been blocking, says Michael Tomasky. So here we have the left saying that that the president should do that. So that was, I think, an awesome thing to point out. Hey, my sponsor for this episode is you're going to go to getamedkit.com. So this is a smart thing to have in your house, obviously, with this 18-to-1 survival kit. You know, this article is talking about being a must-have for responsible citizens. So again, get this 18-to-1 survival kit by going to getamedkit.com. You can never be too prepared. The recent pandemic with the coronavirus is reminding everyone on how things can turn from bad to worse. Shortage of guns, ammo, toilet paper, and other essentials have strained the country and have caused panic buying. The sad part is that 99% of Americans are unprepared for a catastrophic event. This doesn't have to be you, and one of the best things you can invest in for your protection is a medical aid kit. Again, this kit has these 18 items here. You'll see a ton of them here. Include the mini flashlight, scissors, gauze, small folding knife. It's got a pair of gloves, 2 packets of C-locks, cold compressment. It's got Q-tips, tusk thermometer. So go grab this right now, again, at getamedkit.com. Limited supply lasts, and this is the very last chance of yours to get a discount before they sell out. Today's advantage now, and give you and your family the gift and power everywhere in the world, and that is anywhere in the world, and that's please visit getamedkit.com and take advantage of the 50% off special. You can get 50% off at getamedkit.com. You can never be too prepared. All right, let's get back into these Q posts. 3964. You get a link here from Fox News. It says, be informed, Boris, think for yourself, trust yourself, Q. Interesting. He's talking about hydroxychloroquine again. And so this is a little video that from Dr. Oz explaining in a little 2-minute video about the South Dakota, as well as another one I think in the University of Minnesota that is looking at hydroxychloroquine. I'll play just a slight part of it. Let's listen. Come on, you can play for me. It's going to go through a commercial. Well, I'm going to skip that ad. You can go look at it yourself because I'm not into waiting for ads. That's why I have to actually pay YouTube, the same ones that censor me, for the red, so you guys don't have to see commercials. Believe it or not, I'm having to pay them even though they demonetize every one of the videos within within 10 minutes of when it goes out. That's the way they keep these videos from going viral. And in fact, the viral video of the 6+ million, almost 7 million views on outofshadow.org is being massively censored by YouTube and Google. We'll go through that in a second. And so make sure you actually go. Remember, it does not have the word "the" in it. So if you want to see that video that has 7 million views, you're going to need to go to outofshadows, plural.org. And unfortunately, somebody else put up the same video and it's got less than 1 million views. So we want to push people to the real video, right? And the best place to go is outofshadow.org. And you're going to have to send people the link because both Google and YouTube on their search engine, the dishonest folks they are, the criminal big tech that is basically run by the same criminal deep state, is keeping that video from showing up. It shows some of the trailers, shows a bunch of other videos, but doesn't show the 7 million copy view. So let's do the Streisand effect on them and get it out there, right? So it's talking about hydroxychloroquine and how there's studies ongoing right now, and they want us to be informed about hydroxychloroquine. All it does is oxygenate your bodies, worked for 60 years beautifully on malaria. It's very inexpensive, and it can be produced very cheaply, but they do not want you to know about it. They also don't want you to know that Boris probably took it when he was sick and in Europe, right? When he actually went into intensive care. Well, boom, he's better now, right? And they want us to think for ourselves and trust ourselves. That's what Q's talking to us about. This is Dr. S explains significance of South Dakota hydroxychloroquine drug trial. Did you have something there, Gene? Christine, keep your mute down, please. Rick and Gene, thanks for leading me back to the Lord. Thank you, Little Red. Boy, thanks for the help with Gene's computer, too. I can't tell you how awesome that is. He's going to have enough not only to get the laptop that I sent him, it's a new Mac, that's going to be really good for him, as well as getting him some keyboard that he a separate keyboard and mouse, which he likes. And so it's going to be really nice for Gene not to have to use his wife's computer at night and stay and work all these night hours. We're so excited. So I'm hoping he's going to get that next week. We'll get it all set up for him. You guys have been beautiful. Thank you so much. If you can go to my PayPal and make sure you put for Gene in there, you can also send it directly to him. He now has a PayPal with his email. So either way would work great. He'll get the money. Let's keep on rolling here. That's an awesome post because it talks about what is the cure for all these things, right? A lot of this is immune health. It's really important to understand. It's immune health. If you have immune health and you're being attacked by a virus from the outside, viruses just make your cells sick. If you have a strong immune system, you're going to fight this off. There's no cure or vaccine for for the cold and influenza. There's not going to be one for this. This is obviously forced vaccination for no reason. And the public's waking up to that, which is awesome. Hi, Rick, a.k.a. Nana here. God bless you too, Susie Q. All right, let's go to 3965. This is Anon asking Q a question. I am same as you, Q, having to go to Tor. Are we under attack? Q answers, always, Q. So the CIA and everybody, even though this is on a DoD server now with a lot of expanded protection from DDoS attacks, etc., the Cabal's using everything they can to take down the Q board. Not only they're taking down the enemy of the people with the fake stream media attacking Q always, and even the criminal cabal of YouTube actually putting in every one of my videos, it has a little Q on there saying it's a far right conspiracy, pointing to Wikipedia, a far left fake news site. So we have the fake news criminal cabal of media companies teaming with the big tech companies that own these platforms. They buy everybody up that can compete with them, and the criminal cabal controls them all, right? That's why you will see the fake QAnon information on every single one of my videos and every other person that's doing a good job, such as Praying Medic and Dustin Nemos and Christian W. All of them are getting attacked with the big tech censorship, as well as fake news on every video. It's just wild to see what they're doing. And they're censoring things like outofshadows.org, so don't let them do that. Send everybody you know outofshadows.org. It's a great movie, over 7 million, coming up I think on 7 million views, maybe 8 million. We'll look at it in a second. I think it's coming up on 7 million views, but if you add those other copies, it's almost over 8 million views. So that's something. 77-minute video. Get your friends to understand that. That is waking a ton of I would call them blue-pilled or normies, they call them, just people that just don't have time for politics. They're the perfect people to get that movie to. They have time right now to watch it. Okay, here's 3966. Another Anon has a question. Says, you have to sense the tension building, Q. It's becoming a tinderbox. And people are getting sick of this, right? So Q answers, imagine if we weren't here. While difficult, it is important to understand that this must be done by the book. Average people must be able to digest and accept factually events. That's the Great Awakening. FISA, lead in, stage 1, act 1. Bad actors had to be removed. Good actors had to be installed. Sleepers had to be uncovered. We are ready. Think bar public. Q. Whew. That is an awesome post. I love it. Important to understand this must be done by the book. That we need to wake up these blue pillars and normies. That's why things like I'm even creating a class to help red pill people. It's going to be very specific if you want my personal training on it and my personal method I use, as well as how to teach people about the reliability of the Bible and how I share the gospel. I got God good news about the right gospel, the right God, and the right Jesus. Right? That's a course I'm about ready to roll out in a couple of weeks. It's going to be fun to train those who want to have my specific help on that. Here we have, going to this next one, is 3967. Thank you, Jamie Alexander. This is for Gene's computer. All right. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to get himself. I should, if I'd known the response you guys were going to have, and Christian W, I would have got him some more memory, but but it's a good computer, and what Gene does, it doesn't take a lot of effort. I mean, a lot of memory and disk space right now. And we taught him how to use the cloud. So Gene's becoming a techie. Isn't that right, Gene? You're going to be a techie now. Here's an add-on with this beautiful picture. I love this picture. It looks like the cross behind the flag, which is actually a sunset, but it looks like the cross behind the flag. I just love this picture. I haven't had a chance to research this, so if you will have time, go look at we'll do it real quick. You just take this JPEG file name, and what you do is you go to actually Google, because they're the ones that have a search on books, and you search on that big long string, and then you go down here to where it says more, and you say books. So you're basically looking at Google Books. And usually it's going to point to some books that Q wants us to look at. This says public service message. And I haven't looked at this yet, so we're just kind of, this is what we'd call an anon digging or something. So here's just a public service message that doesn't really say anything. It says anonymous ID. Here, we are under attack. Oh, look at, he's got a Q message. I'm sure as you, Q, have to go to Tor, right? Tor is a special way to get to the network when your network's being attacked on which the servers are for 8 Coon right now, right? We are under attack. 80224 always Q. So it's just pointing back to QAnon there. But again, that's another way that Q's communicating with us with learn the comms that SB2's talking to us about, right? So here we go. There's Liz Joyner. Thank you so much. For Gene, I found your channel through an interview he did, and I love everything you guys do. Awesome. So here is the Anon posted this beautiful picture of the flag. And the Anon says, just like Q and Q+, put on that armor of God. That's Ephesians 6:10 through 20, right? Patriots, keep praying. In the end, God wins. Where we go one, we go all. I can't talk about that. You guys, we the remnant. It's important for us to keep praying. Thank Nicola Ellis. Thank you so much. And look at this. These people are pure evil. This is not about politics. You are ready. Q. Second time he's saying you are ready. We've been preparing for this since October of 2017. He's been preparing the Anons, preparing the digital soldiers, preparing each of you who are part of this digital soldier war as you're spreading these videos, as you're spreading these memes and tweeting out things and memes. This is important, guys, but most important is this right here. Keep praying. Put on that armor of God, because we need to be praying with faith, not fear. There's a lot of fear porn on there about 5G, which is bunk. In the United States, there's a lot of fear porn out there, which is bunk about FEMA taking over Trump. Give me a break. Do you not trust that the Patriots are in control? Do you not trust anything about this plan? Do you not trust that God is more powerful than Satan? Come on. We need the Patriots and the remnant to be repenting for this nation and asking our land to be healed, not being in fear. That's not our job. Our job is to pray and to lift up with thanksgiving, as Philippians 4, 6, and 9 talks about, right? You can do it with me. It's going to be awesome. Thanks, Joy G. You're awesome. So with 3968, here we are. We're looking at Anon. I suspect there are still a ton of sleepers regarding Paul, Ryan, etc. all. Remember Paul Ryan? Well, Q took that and amplified on that quite a bit. He says, do you think it was Paul Ryan's choice to step down? Rising star in the Republican Party, Speaker of the House, age, he was very young. Thank you all, Grace. You are amazing. I love it. You are too. You all are amazing. All of you as digital soldiers, spreading this information, getting out of shadow.org to your friends and your family and your acquaintances, right? Get it out. Get people interested in it with just a little, it's kind of like planting seeds in the Bible when you're getting people to understand things, planting seeds to get people to understand the true God. Now we're trying to let them know about the red pill. That's a great one. It also honors the Lord, right? All those people that did outofshadow.org are Christians. Great interviews. I'm trying to get them on here in the channel if you can know any of them, Liz Crokin or Mike or Andrew. They're awesome people. They did some great interviews on In the Matrix. So I'd love to have them on here as well. But look at this. It says, did you think it was Senator Flake's choice to step down? And then it has 11 dots. Dot, 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 dot. Which means, in my opinion, that's probably talking about 1, 2, and 9 more people, right? There's probably 11 total people, or maybe those 2 plus 11 more, maybe 13 that were, it wasn't their choice to resign. Because you saw how many people resigned before the 2018 election, right? So that caused the loss of the House, but not a big deal. This was about getting rid of the rhinos, getting rid of the true cabal-controlled Republicans, right? That's primarily who resigned. And 3968 is summarized as neither Paul Ryan nor Jeff Flake stepped down voluntarily. Now we move to the next one. It's the Q-proof. This is 3969. Trying to move quickly so I can get to Gene's Decode. I read it and it's awesome. You guys are you're gonna be worth it. I tell you that. Here, it's gonna be worth it to be patient for Gene here. So this is a post, again, an anon post a proof. And I love it. Q posts and amplifies on it. So let's analyze this a little bit. So he puts the Q proof. Proofs are important. Q, the Durham call for witnesses. So this was way back to 3784. This was done on January 23rd of this year. When you saw it, it said bar to Durham. Think grand jury material. Clearly, we're told in January this is going to happen. Thanks, Nicolette. Gene, you're going to get it. You're going to get a nice computer. We even were talking about that too. So he's going to put a firewall up because he's got lost 9 or 10 hours worth of work, or 8 or 9 hours worth of work the other day. So he needs a firewall too to really protect him. Gateway Pundit, and here it is. The proof came out on April 11th, where it said award-winning investigative reporter John Solomon told Sean Hannity on Friday's podcast that he knows of a few witnesses who have appeared before the D.C. grand jury for Durham, just as Q told us all the way back in January. So, and then Q basically says, we are far beyond the need for proofs. Why? Because we have like 500 proofs in qproofs.com. It's another one. If you have people investigating Q and they're going, I don't know if I believe in this, send them qproofs.com. QPROOFS, proofs, plural.com. I send that to a lot of people. In fact, and there's a lot of new eyes coming right now. This is a great time to let people know what's going on. And Q basically says, we are far beyond the need for proof. You have more than you know. Durham start. Q-op start. 5-5. Q. So we know that the whole FISA equals start. He's told us about that. And the fact is that and it's interesting. This is the first time I've seen this Q-op start, which is really kind of interesting. So I think it's going to be more confusion for the enemy, right? Don't be getting all frustrated when things aren't happening exactly the way you want them. This is all about waking up the lefty friends, the blue-pilled friends, the people who aren't interested in politics. They need to understand and factually be able to understand they can't trust Bill Gates and Chris Wallace saying we need vaccines. And they can't trust Dr. Fauci, right? Or any of the other New World Order or even the CDC we can't trust. We can't even trust the World Health Organization. The Cabal had control of everything. So the unraveling this is a brilliant plan that Gene's going to talk about in just a second. 3969 summarize that. We are far beyond the need for proofs. Remember Q operation, and Durham started the same day. That's what it is. Hey, cool. This told me what didn't catch. The Q op they're talking about is actually what happened on October 27th of 2017, 28th of 2017, I believe. And that is exactly now from other proofs we got that's exactly when Durham started. So people were thinking Durham got started in 2018, 2019. No, he was starting all the way when Q started. 5-5. I've got that now. 5-5. Okay, now here we go. Now we go to 3970, and the anon says, when will our voice and vote matter again, Q? He says it does now, Patriot. More than ever. Think 2016. Think 2020. Think of the world awakening, Q. So they're going to throw everything at this and try to cheat every way they can. That's what the Cabal does. The Cabal is now being caught on it, and that's why the control over the Democratic leadership and wanting ballot harvesting, no voter ID. You've got the governor of Virginia being the criminal person he is, saying that they're scrapping any voter verification they had. You have the Clinton lawyer out of Arizona suing that you had to be able to vote by mail. This is the criminal cabal in panic mode, needing to figure out how they can cheat, because what's happening, we're the majority. That Trump's popularity, everybody's waking up. There's a walk-away movement, all these lefties moving into understanding who Trump really is. He's already got the middle class, the Reagan Democrats moved over. You got the Brexit movement with Candace Owens growing like mad. There's no way they can win now without absolute fraud. And that's them panicking. That's 3970. The summary of that is Patriots. Our voices and votes matter now more than ever. Many people that had never voted before in 2016 came out and voted for Trump. So we need to make sure we get everybody out, even those that didn't vote in 2016, get them to vote in 2020, letting them know that we're fighting absolute corruption and voter fraud. It has to be an overwhelming win like it was in 2016 to counteract the voter fraud. That's 3970. Now, the last one we have is 3971. It says, ... and frogs to destroy them. Cute. Which is, that actually points to a Bible verse in the Old Testament. Remember when the frogs came in and destroyed Egypt as one of the plagues? And I'll turn to that Bible verse here in a second that Lou pointed out. It's also talking about Pepe the Frog, right? Which is the mascot, if you will, for the Q movement, right? So pretty awesome. Frogs to destroy them. That's 3971. Let's refresh and go through a quick bit of news before we get Gene on here. We are looking at this right here. This is Q sends us to read Psalm 78:45. This is Lou, by the way. Go follow him. It's at Lou17Q right there. Lou is the moderator in the house right now. Again, that would be at Lou17Q. It says hashtag Q sends us to read Psalm 78:45 in the International Standard Version. And there's Bible.hub Q to it. It says, at blessed to teach to me, and then biblical. And there it's talking about this. And here you can actually see he copied it in for us. It says he sent swarms of insects to bite them and frogs to destroy them. And frogs to destroy them. The Bible. He sent swarms of biting insects against them, as well as frogs that overran their land. And so this is different types of versions, but you can see the version that he's talking about here. And you can go to a lot of different things, but this is the Bible hub that he's linking to here. And so this is just a great, I go to Bible.com, but BibleHub.com is another great one. And he's talking about 78:45. I just wanted to go to the actual Bible to show you that 78 and go down to 45. Having an online Bible is critical right now. We need to be active in our prayers and active in the Word. Remember, when we pray, that's one-way communication primarily to God, telling him what we want, right? And we need to be in faith, telling him we want to eliminate the Cabal and heal our land, right? But the way we listen to God is reading His Word, listening to His Word. And there it is right here. So it talks about He turned the rivers into blood and made their streams undrinkable. He sent swarms of insects to bite them and frogs to destroy them. And Q's moving it all around to the digital soldiers. That's this whole QAnon movement, which is backed up by our mascot, if you will, is Pepe the Frog. And no, that's not an idol. It's just a mascot. Have fun with it like you do in your high school or whatever mascot. Pepe's our mascot, and God is our God. That's who we're trusting in, and we know God always wins. Here's Praying Medic. He actually has done a great thread and videos as well, so make sure you follow him. He might be pulled off pretty soon. I want to let you know that I pulled together a list of my 60 top patriots. So if you want to know who I think the 60 top red pill patriots are, and there's going to be some of your favorites that I missed, okay? But these are the people that I look for on my social media when I'm trying to prepare for the show. So remember, I work full-time. So there's a ton of people doing great digging. There are full-time people that are doing this full-time, which is awesome. And so I come home at night. Actually, I guess I twist my chair from my work computer to my setup here in the studio, and now used to come home from a lot of travel. You guys know I've done a lot of these videos from hotels, but when I come here, I'm looking at all these great places. So if you want a copy of who my top 60 red pill patriots are, I've got a site. It's linked down below. You can type in Impact Culture Now, because if you follow these red pill patriots, you're going to be able to impact the culture now, right? So that's just a website I have that's called impactculturenow.com. You will get the list right here, right? And again, it is going to list the 60 red pill patriots that I follow when I prepare my show. If I had to do it again, I would add Liz for basically the shadow.org guys. But I'll probably update this as well. I'm probably going to go to 80 red-pilled patriots soon. So I'll let you know when that's updated. But go ahead and grab this free gift. Again, free gift, top 60 red-pilled patriots. Go to impactculturenow.com. Thank you, Jennifer. The only way they can win in 2020 is voter fraud. Can Trump legally issue an executive order to require voter ID? Not yet. Please ask Q to address this major concern. Ken, thank you so much as well. Now I think that again, since you empower each of the states to do their elections they want, but we the people are going to end up demanding it, and I believe we will potentially get voter ID before the election if the timing of this corruption is shown so clearly. I hope we demand it. After 2020, I think we will for sure. Again, get on my email list as well and get the top 60 red pill Christian patriots out of the shadows. I just want to show you it's outofshadow.org. I want to show you just real quickly, and we'll move to Gene right after I show you this. This is the if I do go to YouTube and I type out of shadows, that's exactly what you should be typing, or you can put it in quotes, out of shadows. You will not see the video that has 7 million views. It's just sad how criminal, and it's criminal to hide it. You can see that this is a trailers they only show you, and they bring you to all these other videos. What's even more criminal, if I go to YouTube, it brings me to the one that has less videos. It brings us to Vice Gaming versus the true video. So that's what Google and YouTube do to lie to you and keep you from doing this. Liz is suspended on Twitter. Oh, that really sucks, Amy. Man, they said there's going to be attack. So guys, I'm probably not going to be on this on here at YouTube very often. That's why we have Backstage, right? So I'm now live on Zoom right now, waving to my Backstage members on the Backstage camera, right? So if you wanted to have me and Gene and a lot more of us going deeper into deeper topics, that's where you need to go. We are on Zoom, and then I pull into the Kajabi platform where we have a Facebook functionality as well, and then I pull also into a high-speed platform for searching, much better than YouTube. So we're going to be fine once YouTube knocks us off, but the only way you're going to do that is to get Backstage with us. Or get on my email list. Go to blessed2teach.com, blessed with the number 2 teach.com. Sign up for the email list. I'll tell you how to get to everything that we're going to have. I do have some backup channels on YouTube as well as a backup channel at BitChute, but I got videos everywhere saved in salvation. I'm ready for this blackout, right? It's probably going to happen. So let's get Backstage or get on the email list as soon as you can. All right. Now, and by the way, if you get that top 60 Christian patriots at Impact Culture Now, you're going to get on my email list as well, and you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And Pelosi shows off her kitchen and gourmet ice cream collection as Americans stand in line for the food bank. It's crazy. Hey, with that, we're going to move to Gene. And he says he's a guy that's talking about the immune system health. That's how we should be attacking this. Not treating the virus as a boogeyman that needs a vaccine. That's a false way of handling this. It's making sure we understand through vitamin C, through oxygenating our blood through hydroxychloroquine, or using what Gene talks about with this book right here, the 1-minute cure, which is using hydrogen peroxide cleanse. I've proven you can read the whole book right here. You can get the book on Amazon. There's a free PDF Backstage. You don't even have to buy the book. So if you're Backstage, there's a link right to this. And then MMS, what Gene talks about, also oxygenates your blood. It's immune system health that we need to be working on. But you can see this talks about right here, Anthony Fauci, director of NIAID, is part of the leadership council of the Gates Foundation. These guys, why do you think he's pushing the vaccine? They all get wealthy. It funds the cabal. Vaccine, boogeyman of the CDC, the World Health Organization, Dr. Fauci telling you need a vaccine. You don't need a vaccine, guys. There's not a vaccine for the common cold and influenza, so this is quite silly. Hey, with that, I apologize for going a little bit longer than I thought, Gene, but looking forward to the Gideon's army, the takedown of the cabal, to talk about that. Thank you, Barbara. Gene, are you there? Gene, I don't have audio on you yet. So let's go see if Gene is co-sensei. I see you. I'm unmuting you. I think he's trying to unmute himself. So maybe Gene's at the restroom, and I'll go over a couple more things until Gene comes back.
Oh, my computer just dropped, buffered out on me.
There's the attack. We can't wait till you get your new computer, Gene, and you got a lot of people that love you. You got a lot of people loving you, throwing us the cash we're going to need to get you a much better setup. And I apologize, I didn't recognize that earlier. I feel guilty about that. And Kristen W. Is the one who really recognized this problem and did something about it and said, Rick, you need to help. So, okay, I got it.
Yeah, thank you, Kirsten, for that. Wow, that was, I mean, she got the ball rolling, and boy, did she. Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be beautiful to have you be able to work the same time as your wife. Get you in the back cave with a great keyboard as well as a firewall, and because you're going to need that too.
Exactly. Because I've been awake till 8:30 for 5 nights in a row now, doing decodes and doing emails and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, let's be careful of the emails. If you got important things to ask Gene, just let you know he's got 300 or 400. I've got 200 backed up already right now, and I was completely caught up yesterday. Gene can't catch up, so he's got a solution to that. But just be a little careful. If you can do backstage, please do that, because we got a whole section in the Facebook type functionality of Kajabi, which literally is real easy to use, just like Facebook. And there's a whole tab for questions for Gene, and we all of us can see it at the same time. So hundreds of people can see it at the same time versus an individual email. You can imagine how much more efficient that is for Gene. So if you can afford backstage, please do that. There are some, we're talking about a scholarship program for it as well to bring the cost way down for people that are on fixed incomes. So if that's the case, email me, and we'll work through that with you. Okay. All right, Gene, go ahead. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So thank you, Rick, and thank you, everybody, and God bless everybody, Grace, and everybody for all the donations. It's going to really help when I can get my own computer and set up my own studio like Rick has. I don't need the overhead camera because I don't show that. I'll have the mic and all that other great stuff, and firewalls and keyboards and all the things I need. So thank you, everybody. And I'm also going to be paying my editors and things like that and the people that are going to help me coordinate all my emails. I'm only behind currently on my emails by 367. So they're like 50 a day from Germany. Anybody in Germany speak fluent English? We need to work. I got Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and she speaks Danish, it turns out. So that's Denmark. And she can read Swedish and Norwegian, so that's covered. And I got Canada covered pretty much. We need somebody on the east coast of Canada. I got the middle of the U.S. possibly covered, and then we need somebody on the west coast and the east coast. And in the four corner states, I'm going to divide the U.S. into many pieces because I get hundreds of emails from the U.S. and then hundreds from Europe, and I need somebody in the South Africa area too. So if you're very red-pilled, and especially if you have medical training as well, that really helps. Especially if you're a naturopath as well. So that said, let's go ahead and go into this. So this is Gideon's Army, Judges chapter 6, 7, and 8, and the takedown of the Cabal. Illuminati elites fighting desperately against the global slave revolt. Thank you for the inspirational work of Benjamin Fulford and to his excellent research, as well as to developmental and editorial work of high vibratory photography and the final editing and smoothing and link verification by TCB. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep. So there can be no doubt about it. Planet Earth is in the middle of a slave revolt. We are living through times that will be written about and spoken about for thousands of years and go down in the history of the world as the greatest event in all of human history on Earth. We are witnessing the overthrow of an ancient control system involving murder, lies, bribery, treachery, treason, satanic ritual abuse, sacrifice, and horrors of evil that surpass the imagination of all but the most wicked beings to ever exist. The inbred family groups controlling this system of Babylonian debt slavery call themselves the Olympians, or the Illuminati, or the Wise Men of Sion. More simply, they are a cabal of evil that worships a false god known as Lucifer or Satan. The epicenter of humanity's revolt against this evil cabal began in the United States of America. Although there are huge clouds of different disinformation being spewed out by all sides, it is important to understand and summarize that it is happening. What has become known as the plan, or the plan to save the world, was planned and was in the planning for decades. And that's the link that is from Q, the wonderful video, The Plan to Save the World, or just the plan.
Yeah, it's a great video, 13-minute video done by Joe M, who actually got knocked off Twitter, and just a beautiful 13-minute video. That's another way to wake your friends up once they...
I think that's, I have 4 videos from the Q board that I think are great. The plan, we are the plan, this speech will get Trump elected, and the art of war by Trump.
Yeah, and if you go down here and you actually go move over here to videos, I passed it, didn't I? There it is, right here. This is where you take people to a lot of times, don't you, Gene?
Yes.
Right, and so, oops, I hit the... So it's got dark to light. It's got the one we just linked to. So again, qmap.pub. Move over to videos right here, and you see some great videos. I got a ton of them. And Gene, you've got some favorites here that you send them to?
Yes.
Okay, great.
What started out in the early 1900s as a 3-inch binder formulated to overthrow the cabal by Nikola Tesla, Robert Van de Graaff, and the Trump brothers, Donald's uncle and John and father Frederick, and Howard Hughes, developed and added to by the most patriot generals and admirals of the U.S. military, is now developed into a 12-inch binder. The design and execution of this plan will forever be seen as the greatest feat of strategic, military, and political and economic warfare ever accomplished. The plan has a series of well-executed trigger events, as well as instant and brilliant adaptation to enemy countermoves based on Sun Tzu's art of war. Based on every possible countermove and contingency has been prefigured into this. So they look at every like a genius chess player at 8D that's literally looking at everything that could possibly be done. So I recommend everybody read that book. It's incredible.
Thank you, Shirley, too. I appreciate it. Sorry, Gene.
Yeah, thank you. No problem. Thank you. God bless so much. This link below this here is what I call The Art of War, The Art of Trump. So I recommend everybody watch this. It's a brilliant video done about how Trump uses the art of war and the Q team.
Yeah, it's got some really cool stuff on here and very well done. So go find this only 5-minute video. Again, The Art of Trump. You can find that on YouTube. You can also get the show notes at blessedteach.com. But it'll have all these links. So this document we're showing you right here with all these links, we find it at blessed2teach.com. Sign up for the show notes, and I'll email them to you in the morning.
So these are the heroes that I was just talking about. Could you page up a little there, Rick? Make sure I didn't miss something.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, okay, fine. So the first heroes of the plan, these are the first heroes of the plan that started assembling the plan. So on the left, you see Robert Van de Graaff, who was using high energy, high electrical frequencies and voltages and power to develop all kinds of technologies, along with Nikola Tesla in the middle. Howard Hughes is on the right, that used his billions and backed it. And after he found out what was going on with these big, powerful other tycoons that were developing up around him. Then we see the Trump brothers, Donald's father on the Frederick on the left, and his uncle John on the right. His uncle John worked both. He had a PhD in electrical science, and so and as well as several other things. But he worked with Tesla and got all of the copies of all the blueprints, and then later he worked after they ransacked Tesla. The J.P. Morgan Foundation, and his goons came in and raided Tesla. He worked with Van de Graaff as well. The plan to save the world began with the great awakening of the human race, the literal awakening of humanity to the one true God of all creation and his son, Jesus Christ. The first planned event of this brilliant plan was the greatest dissemination of truth and intelligence to the world that had ever been done. This began with what was first known on 4chan as Make a Q in early 2014. That's when I got called off the back deck by God. Turn on the computer, stop working. And it took me, and I saw all the posts, just a flow. There's no singular post. It was just endless questions that would be added to every day. And this was followed in 2017 on the 28th of October with the first post on 8chan that became the Q board by QAnon. The second event was the election of a champion, and most likely the most brilliant general, and what will be known as the greatest president and leader the world has ever seen, Donald J. Trump, on 16 November 2016, by the people, and then formally by the Electoral College on 19 December 2016, followed with his inauguration on 20th of January 2017. The third brilliant move was to begin the removal of the Cabal's financial power. This first began behind the scenes when President Donald Trump, at that time Mr. Trump, met with I
forgot to put that.
Met with King Solomon at Las Vegas in his jet. And both of them tried to assassinate him. There's bullet holes in the towers down by the runways that are still there, you can see. And that was a FF on 1 October 2017, that Las Vegas shooting in which 59 people were killed and more than 500 hurt from a false thing, a fake thing of supposedly one guy shooting like they always do, a single shooter, which is never the case. Yeah. And so these two links take you, and you can look into see about the pretty much all of us know about that, but those are links that take you to learn more about the Mandalay Bay and the Vegas shooting.
Yeah, so you'll see the little 3-minute thing talking about it here, as well as the and they
had a guy dressed up a lot like that, looked just like him, going through the Mandalay Bay while he was actually in the airplane with Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
And if you learn your satanic and Masonic code, you'll see even that shooter's name and everything ties into how they do their stuff, their FFs. This meeting caused the ruler of the House of Saud to be changed to one that opposed their satanic influence and the largest supply of human trafficking on Earth, as well as the largest financial system of the satanic cabal, to be removed. That's why we saw in Q-Post where one side of the triangle disappeared, or the pyramid, forever changing the economic structure of the world and greatly dropping the cabal's world power. The next brilliant fourth move was the freeing of the government of North Korea in 2018, so that the cabal clowns in America could no longer threaten nuclear attack and hold the countries of the world hostage, as well as the beginning of cutting the UN funding by Trump in 2nd of October in 2018. And you can see there where he started choking off funds.
Yeah. Stealthily seeks to choke off funding of the UN programs. I love that one. And this is where he was mulling over the 4.3 million, even in political. We'll talk about billion in foreign aid cuts. Yep.
The fifth move continued with the removal of the cabal's financial power of the United States of America when Trump took over the corporate United States of America by signing the legal ledger of the Virginia Corporation. And this was witnessed and consecrated in Westminster Abbey. He signed the Virginia Ledger books on 3 June 2019. I covered that in the Blessed to Teach Decode. You can click that there, as well as that link.
Yep, and so you can see when we covered that all the way back here on June 19th. And then more information here. This was fascinating to me when you did this decode. I think it's one of the first decodes you did with us, Gene. I'm not sure, but
I think it's pretty much the first one ever.
Well, you did the smaller ones that were in text to me, right? But this is the first one where we really walked through an official decode with links and stuff. And this was really interesting to understand that the power Trump had over the Queen even. It's like, wow.
So the sixth phase of the plan was the bankruptcy of the Cabal through the United States of America Corporation on 16 February 2020, a date that will live in history. This continued with the transfer of the Federal Reserve into the Treasury of the United States for America, with the appointment of Stephen Mnuchin and the Secretary of the Treasury as the Secretary of the Treasury on 13 February 2017, and the final transfer taking place on 13 April 2020.
Woo!
When Q pointed to a tweet that said, a person tweeted, "Meet your new Fed Chairman, Donald J. Trump."
Yeah, it was actually, I think, in this article right here. It was kind of quite. So here's the tweet in the actual article right here in Bloomberg. Who was criticizing it, really basically realized, oh my goodness, meet your new chairman, right? I just love that. So this is meet your, there it is. So the scheme essentially merges the Fed and the Treasury into one organization. So meet your new Fed chairman, Donald J. Trump. Woo!
Also on October 16th, and I can't find this, but I know it happened. Starting in 16 October of 2019, the Fed started buying back their debts with actual gold-backed notes at $1 trillion a day, and it's been continuing from then till now. And
yeah, I heard they were funding them. I didn't realize it was actually gold-backed notes, but I knew they were doing $1 trillion a day, much bigger than what they did in 2008. But this time it was going the opposite direction into the Treasury, right?
So if you figure out that's essentially 6 months ago or half a year, that's 180 trillion now. So once they go insolvent, then they'll be liquidated completely and gone. That's the plan, the brilliant plan, part of this the plan to save the world and the human race from the cabal.
Trump halts payments to the WHO.
So our brave president continued cutting their financial power, like we just saw, with his cut on 14th April 2020 of funds to the World Health Organization. The Chinese responded by informing the cabal they would no longer accept their debt certificates. The Chinese branch of the cabal, believing they had attained superiority and autonomy, told the rest of the cabal that from now on payments would be required in gold or other things that really exist. The ancient black nobility cabal of the lineage of Cain under the House of Wettin, the Wettin dynasty, and there's a link that goes into information about the Wettin dynasty, and that's run by the great-great-granddaughter of Rasputin and the daughter of the Tsar Nicholas. And so she has Romanov blood as well as black sorcery blood and many, many things mixed in down there. And then also of that House of Wettin is underneath the Antichrist Merovingian dynasty. There's a link about that.
Interesting.
And that Merovingian dynasty is the direct lineage of Cain. So anticipating this event, the Merovingian dynasty and the House of Wettin tried to bow the Chinese cabal, the Li family, into submission with a failed biological weapons attack that was meant to be first released in the United States of America. And second, that was to destroy the U.S. economy and remove the possibility of Donald Trump ever getting reelected. re-elected. And secondly, to bring down, after that, they would release it in Wuhan, to bring down the Li Cabal family in China and remove them as a threat to the ancient black nobility. They were getting to the point they thought they would be the one to rule the world, and the black nobility was telling them that's never going to happen. So the COVID-19 virus was to cause millions of casualties in Wuhan and throughout China with its lethality was vast, and its lethality was vastly amplified by a coordinated electromagnetic attack using 5G and satellites. What it does is it makes it massively more contagious. At the same time, it makes it 10 times more lethal with the 5G and the satellites. The attack caused well over 21 million casualties. I have that from my sources in China that I get, as well as you can see here, that's in Wuhan and throughout China, that this link that there's over 21 million people no longer using their cell phones. And let me explain that if you're in China, you are required to use your phone every day. It's part of your social score. That social score determines whether or not you can buy food, you have a place to live, you have a job. They track you. You have to use that every day. If 21 million people aren't using their phone, they're most likely not on Earth.
Yeah, wild stuff. And that's just really interesting. Now, I have heard other reports about this, but that some of that could have been bots that got taken down and stuff like that. But it sure seems fishy, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. And then the Somerset Belanoff I mentioned, that's Glamis Castle, yes, the House of Wit. And I do have people that have been deep into the tortured and into Mark Ultra in my lab that know of her personally and have met her personally, told me how evil and terrible she is. So the Chinese evil.
Hey, Gene, do you mind if I just back up a little bit? I also want to make sure people stop getting panicked because Trump stopped the Huawei stuff going into the United States heavily over the last year plus.
And we did a decode earlier on this.
Right. So the Huawei stuff and the wall that SB2 talks about, Trump's been preparing for this 5G attack for a long time.
Well, what I'll do, Rick, is I'll send you my data on that. We can cover that on the next show.
Okay.
Showing the legislation in which first act was called the Covfefe Act, which was to make it so that all transmissions and everything would only be through secure and private and safe means. And then there were two House resolutions and as well as Senate resolutions that were passed.
Right.
That cleared out the old 5G completely. Yes, sir. So that was House Resolution 2881 and House Resolution 4998. And if you read that, the commission shall develop a list of suggested replacements of both physical and virtual equipment, devices, software, and services categories, application and management software and services. So that's literally from the body of 4998. This is the tear out of Huawei and Apple 5G that was made in China. So that's why you see the white trucks going all over during this situation where there's lockdown. Here in the US, they're tearing it out. In other countries that aren't 100% as clean as the US, like the UK, you have both. I'm tearing it out and putting it in. And it's not just the towers. You have little 5 and 6 inch little sticks on the back of signposts and lights and everything that do that as well. And so from that other one, the commission shall develop from that other, the 4998, the commission shall develop a list of suggested replacements, physical and virtual. And so they've developed that and instrumented that.
And that was from two that you were just reading right there, right?
Yeah, sir. I literally just now went to the legislation on that. So I'm reading from the House resolutions. All
right. Thanks, Amy, for taking some of the shills out.
We know we're on target. Thank you guys for letting me know. Yeah. Shills and trolls. I have a comment to you. Think for yourself before it's too late. your masters are running out, and they're trying to get out. They're trying to get out of their ground and run for it too. The rats are abandoning a sinking ship, and when they run out of all their money, which is we're seeing here is being taken out, and their human stuff that they use for food, what do you think they're going to do with you when they can't pay you and they can't use you? Think about dinner. Okay, that's what you're going to be. So I would change and find God and Christ in your, and change sides while you have time.
Yes. And Q's kind of like that. This shofar that's being blown right here. I love this picture, right? That's a shofar, a Jewish shofar being blown. We're going to get into Gideon's army here in a second, but this is quite exciting what's happening right now. And the Q army is kind of like the Gideon army, so we'll get into that soon.
Exactly, and that's why I picked that the Gideon. Sorry, Gideon. So the Chinese evil CCP continues to lie, stating that there are no more COVID viruses or cases or cases and fatalities. But this is only due to how they have adjusted their policy towards anyone showing signs of any illness. If you have a cold or the flu or anything, they whack you upside the head. This is from people I have on the ground in China, as well as you can see these links here, and they then bind you up, throw you in a body bag, and they have people that are being thrown into furnaces, and there are people that are that work at these crematoriums, hearing the people screaming inside the crematorium, inside the furnace.
Wow. Evil. The CCP, everything I've studied about them is so evil. Smog.
I mean, imagine this. They do that to their own people.
Wow.
I mean, now it's literally a death sentence to get sick in China.
Wow. 3 separate articles talking about that, even Breitbart.
Meanwhile, the bankruptcy of the U.S. corporation triggered an undeclared civil war in the United States that is still raging on.
Oops, sorry, I missed that.
That link, please, Rick.
Back to
So that's the video we did on that showed all kinds of military vehicles being moved. We showed that all over the place where you could see military vehicles, and that's as well. I have another link after this one. Okay. I want to iterate. Yes, there's all these military vehicles being moved and all kinds of things happening. Focus in your faith in God and His Son, the God of all creation, and His Son Jesus Christ. That is to round up the Mark Ultras with end time programming, the Antifa, the MMS-13. So there may be somebody in your own block, highly likely. It's not for everybody. So stop falling into the trap of the fear. They're going to peddle that fear porn as hard as they can because they're going down, and they need that fear to create their new world order. They don't have souls. They can't create. That's only given by God, the creator of everything, through the soul. And they need that energy. They've been using us for thousands of years. Oh my goodness, I'm buffering. Okay, so I'm back. Okay, sources have stated that the quarantine and martial law is now complete. The martial law through the quarantine in all 50 states, which are under disaster declarations as per the signing of the Stafford Act, 13 January 2020, and its invocation on 13 March 2020. With these steps, the U.S. military was put on high alert. Trump then called up the mobilized 1 million reserve troops in 26th of March 2020.
Trump authorizes Pentagon to call up 1 million, up to 1 million reserve troops. Because of a virus that kills less people so far than the flu.
Yeah. So obviously the white hats and the dark hats are using it for cover. It's a undeclared stealth civil war, and it's worldwide. Like we saw with the previous Decode with the Avenger 2020 ops going in Western Europe and through the UK. Coordinating with Joint Special Forces Operations Command, JSOC, being given increased alert orders as Trump declared himself a wartime president as per the Stafford Act. That is why the U.S. President no, Trump no longer uses the presidential seal and the presidential flag. It's not because FEMA's taking them over. That's FEMA has like 1,400 employees. Come on, people. Common sense. What's the military? 1 million more already. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah, and,
So
and he had the presidential seal back on it when it was outside, so there's not a real big significance with people freaking out over that.
Yes, it's like when I was in the military. If I'm wearing my hat, my uniform in the military, when I go outside, I take that off. So when he's outside the military as being the commander-in-chief of the U.S. combined might of all the U.S. military forces, U.S. Marshal Service, and many local police, then that seal and flag aren't there. When he goes out and he's dealing with directly in civilian matters or foreign matters that aren't of military nature, then you'll see the seal like you just mentioned, Rick. So it depends. It's not. It doesn't mean there's a coup. Okay?
Yeah.
Use your common sense.
That's the fear porn.
Yeah, listening to the fear porn, people. Meanwhile, the top Hollywood, Wall Street, Silicon Valley monsters, all of them monsters, except for very few exceptions, have been detained, and many are either under full arrest or house arrest. So if you look at this picture of Ellen DeGeneres here, look at her left pant leg up. That's folded up there. You can see a little square box. That's a tracking bracelet. We're going to see the same thing in here again very soon. It's not a pack of cigarettes, people. Okay? Who carries it like that? You carry it in your sleeve or a pocket. If you're home, you don't need to carry it. I mean, come on, just put it on a table if you're that. And Ellen's supposed to have said she quit smoking. So, I mean,
yeah, so quite suspicious, huh? With the blow up. Yeah, it looks like a pretty big one there too.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like a pack of cigarettes unless you cut it in half.
Like that either.
Yeah, exactly. Little metal cigarette sticking out. All right, so we got links to this as well. So you have the pictures in the show notes. Obviously, all the backstage people will get this whole thing as well, easily accessible. But there's another picture of it right there. So it's quite odd, isn't that, Gene?
Yes, indeed, sir.
Oops, trying to make that. And then, so this is some good stuff. I didn't realize you had all this. This is another one where, you can see it right there, couldn't you?
Yeah.
There it is. Wow.
Like a cigarette, huh? Sure.
Wow. Ellen, if it has ankle monitor or something similar on it, watch her right leg.
Yep.
Wow. Interesting stuff there, Ellen.
Yeah, thank you for my editors, both of you, for finding this. Both my compilator and my originator, and then my smoothing and typesetter. Thank you so much, both of you. I know you're exhausted. Awesome. We're up all the time now. So here's Tom Sank's beautiful and expensive kitchen with nice greenstone counters and white cabinets. Yeah. Pay attention to this, people. This is his nice, beautiful kitchen.
Look how big that is with granite. It's got granite everywhere. Huge kitchen.
Yeah, green.
Yeah.
Green stone counters.
Right.
They like green, don't they?
Yeah.
And now,
that doesn't look quite as nice there, Gene.
It's a little odd. And not only that, we go down. Remind you, green and white counters.
Right.
Green stone. And here he is with this nice, kind of, to me, looks like what I remember either coming out of boot camp or when you see people that are coming out of prison. He doesn't look very happy either.
He looks quite unhappy. Yeah.
Then now this is his kitchen. What happened to it?
No double stove, no granite.
The counters are different colors of the cabinets. And who's the guy in the back looking like he's looking at TV monitors? Like monitors around the building is what it looks like to me. I don't know what's on that screen.
It looks like it's a combined living room kitchen, right? So this is not a rich man's house right now.
And then I'm wondering, is this a cipher lock on the door, or is that a steel door? What exactly are we looking at? Is that the hinge in a steel door? I mean, I'm not sure is that what that is, but I have seen Cypher. I can't get at the angle enough to see what that really is.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to read that, Rick?
So here's an Anon posting this most likely on 8kun, right? And it's got a picture of him when he was doing his Saturday Night Live remote deal, right? He talked about a lot of weird things. Tom Hanks, Saturday Night Live last night, he emphasized cue cards. He said cue cards several times. I'm using cue cards. Can anyone read what's on his cue card? It says odd things that stood out to me. Number 1, possible military haircut. Then mentions maybe we should all do it, referring to the haircut. Look for more people with short haircuts. Number 2, weird signals. He says he makes people uncomfortable, right? He's talking about because he had coronavirus, etc. But he's talking about people are uncomfortable around me now. Number 3, he mentions the number 36 a few times. Not sure where that is signaling. 3 equals C, 6 equals F. Clinton Foundation. That's a green screen, is somebody saying it's a green screen. I'm not sure if that's behind or not. But this is, then he mentions 38. 38 is bad. C equals 3. 8 equals H. Could that be CH? And then 36 is fine and 38 is bad. Then it says it's how Hollywood treats female actors. That's what he did. Number 6 talks about forgetting how buttons work on his suit. They slide into these slots. Amazing. And number 7, no such things as Saturdays anymore. Every day is just today, like a prison inmate would feel. Weird. And so that's kind of, you can go watch that at that right there, the remote Saturday Night Live. That was weird. I watched it.
Here we have Oprah, and she's got a tracking bracelet on there as well.
Yeah.
Same thing we saw underneath Ellen's pants.
Same ankle?
Yeah.
Really interesting with Oprah.
Not only that, what I noticed, what nobody else seemed to catch, we'll get to in a second here. But first of all, we had Oprah's house here in Boca Raton being dug up. And then somebody said, no, that's not her house. Well, the guy that's saying that's not her house is showing property up in Chicago. saying, that's not her house. Mm-hmm. This is her house. So that, but now if we look, and that's Oprah's house here. That's the actual.
I'm going to show that, or
yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
The house owned by Oprah Winfrey. It's up for sale.
This person's actually driving around showing the location and saying all these, she's from Boca Raton and she knows, and so giving the location and everything, showing you very precisely.
All kinds of construction being torn down, dug up, plus the Red Cross signs. Pretty weird stuff happening there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Aerial view of the house. And I think it was actually showing. Not sure if there's any video on that. They are just so happens to be tunnel roadworks. A better view of the suspected lab owned by 2 local realtors. Entrance broke. It says Oprah's house in South Florida shut down and tunnels excavated. Whew. So interesting. You want me to read this or not, Gene?
I'll go ahead and go back to the decode.
Okay.
So if you notice you can see her pant leg there. Also, what I found interesting is they're essentially wearing, it looks to me like the same kind of outfit. It's the same color, the same fabric. Is this some kind of prison outfit for women?
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, at least the pants are these sweaty type stretchy pants, right?
Yeah, even the same color.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, something that makes you say,
Yeah.
Then now, the pedo club known as Playboy Mansion. Look at the property.
Being torn up. Looks like it's, yeah.
Yep. Digging for tunnels.
Interesting. Tennis court doesn't look in too good shape anymore, does it? Oh, tearing everything up.
I remember what Trump signed in with the executive order. They can seize property if you're found guilty of trafficking humans. At the same time, several U.S. state governors have claimed their states as nation states, most notably California. The state governor, Gavin Newsom, stated, as a nation state, California would acquire the hospital supplies that the federal government failed to provide and might even export some of these supplies to states in need. That's what we call a bait and switch comment, where you bait other governors as a separate country, is what he's saying. And we'll sell it to you if you join us in pulling away.
Well, Amanda Grace gave him or God gave through Amanda Grace a pretty steep warning. Said he got it looks like he's not adhering to his warning, is he?
No, these people are stupid, like you said. There are also, excuse me, I'm lost where I am. Hold on. Various reports of military and hardware tanks have been seen throughout our country.
Now, we've shown a lot of that here over the last couple months.
Just showing some more. So don't listen to the sound of this guy. It's total fear porn, and he's freaking out. But that's to stop any violence from happening and to take out any kind of Antifa or something.
Right. I saw a bunch of stuff and it flipped over to him just talking. Yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, he has lots of stuff on his channel, but he's pumping the fear porn through the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
There are multiple non-natural earthquakes being detected around Area 51 and the base in Nevada, which is the base in Nevada, and the military underground bases throughout California. Pentagon sources have stated these Cabal tunnels stretch from Mexico to Canada, so the war is on. Mexican cartels and the Cabal have been told by Trump and the top military generals that their operations will not be permitted. General Milley declared war on the drug cartels on the 1st of April 2020.
Yeah,
you go to 645 on this link, Rick.
Okay. 645, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, come on, you can get there.
Action around the world to defend our great country. Thank you, and I'd like to invite General Milley.
Thank you, Secretary, for those words, and thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership. And I want to publicly thank Admiral Craig Fowler, the commander of U.S. Southern Command out of Miami, for leading this operation, which is underway effective today, and also Admiral Gilday, the Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Schultz, for their contributions to this from their services. There's thousands of sailors, Coast Guardsmen, soldiers, airmen, Marines involved in this operation. We came upon some intelligence some time ago that the drug cartels, as a result of COVID-19, were going to try to take advantage of the situation and try to infiltrate additional drugs into our country. As we know, there's 70,000 Americans die on an average annual basis to drugs. That's unacceptable. We're at war with COVID-19, we're at war with terrorists, and we are at war with the drug cartels as well. This is the United States military. You will not penetrate this country. You will not get past Jump Street. You're not going to come in here and kill additional Americans. And we will marshal whatever assets are required to prevent your entry into this country to kill Americans. So right now the Navy has marshaled additional Gray Hull ships from both PACOM and UCOM and for the Naval Fleet at Norfolk. And they are set sail already, and they are in the Caribbean right now. In addition to that, there's 10 Coast Guard cutters, and there's Special Operations Forces and Security Force Assistance Brigades, along with Air Force reconnaissance aircraft. The bottom line is you're not going to get through. Now is not the time to try to penetrate the United States with illegal drugs to kill Americans. With the United States military, we will defend our country regardless of the cost. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Secretary.
Wow. I remember that. That was pretty bold.
Yeah, he's pretty grim looking there. He's pretty serious. It's not the drug cartels, that's the cabal. That's what he's really talking to. You will not get into our country. You will be taken out, period. That's it. That's a grave warning to them. So could you go back up to where we were? Yeah, there we go. This was declared to stop the flow of drugs and arms, humans, children, terrorists, and money. There is also a crackdown taking place in Israel. The Pentagon has stated through sources, Israel under Passover lockdown may make it easy to round up war criminals and terrorists. The situation in Israel appears to have started with the coronavirus death of former Israeli chief rabbi Eliyahu Bakshi, who has called for the murder of Jewish people who marry non-Jewish people.
Interesting.
This war is by no means over. The elite are fighting back hard. This is seen, for example, in the calls to vaccinate everyone with what likely is a cocktail of substances, including microchips. Bill Gates has called for vaccinating the world, like Rick said on the previous show.
Crazy. And so is Fossey, basically saying it's going to be over.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And we don't need their vaccinations. We have things like chloroquine, MMS, hydrogen peroxide. We don't need your vaccinations. You don't have the right, and we don't give you the right, and we remove our permission for you to vaccinate us and to vaccinate all the humans of the world. The Cabal killed Robert F. Kennedy's daughter and granddaughter in revenge for warning about the danger of vaccines. Kennedy stated Indian doctors blamed the Bill and Melinda Gates campaign for a devastating non-polio acute flaccid virus known as NPAFP epidemic that paralyzed 490,000 children.
Wow.
Gates' global vaccine agenda is a win-win for the pharmacy, and they want to make it a mandatory vaccination worldwide.
And that's becoming very, very obvious to people. And boy, he's getting slaughtered on Twitter and things right now. Gates Global's vaccine agenda, a win-win for pharma and mandatory vaccine. People are realizing that that is the agenda of these two right there. Look at it, Fossey and Mr. Gates, pushing their little cabal agenda of making, instead of immune health, they're getting into the boogeyman of the vaccine needs a boogeyman of the virus needs a vaccine. Let's give me a break. What a fraud.
Also, a sign of who the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau really works for is what he said on Thursday, that Canadians will not be able to return to a life as they know it before the novel coronavirus pandemic until a vaccine is available. That's a link to that statement there.
Yeah, and Gene, we're an hour and 21 minutes into this. What do you think? You want to keep on rolling?
That's up to you. We're nearing the end, so.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Maybe we'll do the Gideon thing to start next episode.
Justin is the son of Fidel Castro, almost certainly murdered his own brother, the real son of Pierre Trudeau, in order to become the prime minister. And he said there'll be no return to normality. It's a link there.
Love the links, guys. This is just awesome.
Coronavirus shutdown. The elites are using this pandemic and quarantine in order to force the population into surrendering their human rights. As a result, instead of now workers demanding a restoration of wages and hours and workplace rights, they are now clamoring for any chance to work at all under any conditions handed down. Elites can afford to do this because they are given trillions of dollars to do so. Notes writer Joaquin Flores. And that's that link there on that.
Man, the links are just fantastic. I just love this. Coronavirus shutdown, the end of globalization and planned obsolescence under multipolarity.
While leaders around the world, the Stanford Advocate notes freedoms are being drastically curtailed. While leaders around the world fight the spread of the coronavirus, they are amassing sweeping new powers. As legislators limit or suspend activities in the name of social distancing, many of the norms that define democracy, elections, deliberation and debate, checks and balances have been put on indefinite hold. France and Bolivia have postponed elections. Peru handed its president broad new legislative authority. Israel sharply ramped up the reach of its surveillance state. There's a link to all that.
Sees new powers to fight coronavirus. Fears grow, obviously, because up for democracy. All right.
The coronavirus originated from the city of Wuhan in China and has now reached every part of the world. But this China government has not reported one case in Beijing, the capital of China, and the economic capital near Shanghai, near Wuhan. Why? They've only reported 3 deaths, and they said that was from outside that came in.
Yeah, blame it on the U.S.
Exactly. Beijing is a city where all the leaders of China live, as well as their most powerful and wealthy elites. Military leaders live there, and they run the power of China, and there is no lockdown in Beijing. It is wide open. Shanghai is a city that runs the economy. It is the economic capital of China, where all Shanghai is by Beijing, by the way, for people, where all the rich people in China live, those who keep the industry running. There is no lockdown there. The bioweapons laboratory at the center of the epicenter of the coronavirus is owned by the Soros Foundation as a Rothschild fund. Even more interesting is where this facility is located, 666 Gaotian Road in Wuhan, China. And you don't have to go to that link. People can do that on their own, right?
Okay.
It's really fascinating. They love their symbols, will be their downfall. The Chinese have made it clear that the current situation cannot be resolved by force, only by cooperation. Chinese ambassador to the United States, Gui Tianqi, or Tiankai, however you say that, stated, let's work together to respond to this global crisis, to save people's lives, to save the future of the global economy, and to save the future of the global community. Global, right? This is our paramount task. Qui calls for a new effective global governance, in other words, world government, using it to pump their side. Global governance system based on the mutual respect and full recognition of diversity. And that's direct quote from this right here.
Thanks, Megan H. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Hydrochloroquine. That's right. It pretty much takes care of the virus, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Gene?
So the outcome, the outcome of this for the UN will be at the very least a radically restructured body, since now that Trump's move, they are short of funds. We understand that there is money in the pipeline, though it was not and has not been officially received, said Stephanie Dujarric, spokesperson for the Secretary General of the UN last week. And that's due to what we heard before, where he cut all these funds to them. And so they thought it's in the pipeline and they're waiting for it, but nothing's coming.
Yeah, good luck getting that.
Check's not in the mail. The agents are also cracking down on the coronavirus fear mongering. That's why they say 256 people, excuse me, have been arrested for posting coronavirus related information in 10 Asian countries from Thailand to India and
Mongolia.
According to AFP, totally based on police reports. Asia cracks down on news. People can go to that link on their own. Sources state we see this whole thing as a hybrid warfare against the world's nation states. So by having the Prime Minister, executive leader of Great Britain going down, the rest of the world's leaders should be galvanized, they are now. They're meaning Boris. In other words, they have successfully scared world leaders into action. However, President Trump remains fearless. We built the greatest economy in the world. We'll do it again a second time. President Donald J. Trump. And so Spirit of God told me during the last broadcast, I wrote this down, Cabal, pay attention to my words. This is the word of God. To all the members of the satanic cabal and all those that serve their false god Satan, you are violating the law of the one true God of all creation. Millions and millions of humans are awake to your vast crimes against humanity, ranging from slavery to child sacrifice and worse, and have said no more. This means that the previous passive consent in the court of the one true God that you gained through deception, lies, coercion, torture, secret symbols and codes, and many other devious means has now been revoked. These millions have awakened to the truth from the research of a brave few that have often been killed by you, tortured and murdered by you. These millions are now aware of the lies, corruption, and criminal acts you have perpetrated upon humanity in the name of your false God. In the court of the one true God of all creation, they have voted no to your plan to destroy the world and kill and enslave humanity. Therefore, your plans for global domination, slavery, and population reduction are now illegal and against the law of the one true God of all creation. Therefore, if you proceed any further from this moment on, you will face the wrath, destruction, and feel the full and ultimate justice of the only true God of all creation. Cease and desist now, or face the legal measure and face the legal justice measured down through the courts of humanity. Be warned. If you persist, the full wrath of the Almighty God of all creation will be dealt upon each and every one of you that follows this course against humanity and earth.
Woo.
And I would add to that, we are not your slaves. You do not have our permission to destroy our planet and destroy our people. We do not give consent, and we do not buy into your fear, your lies, your treachery, and your deception. We follow the one true God. Cease and desist now. You have faced the wrath of God before, and you will feel it in absolute full measure this time. Cease and desist and turn yourself in to be measured in the courts of justice of humanity. Thank you, Randy.
That is the warning, guys, right there. That you Cabal members, those of you listening.
Could you do Gideon's for me, Rick?
Yeah, this is Judges chapter 6, 7, and 8. This is a summary that one of the editors did for us that will go relatively fast because it's just a summary, right? I encourage you to go look at Judges chapter 6, 7, and 8. It's an awesome, awesome story. This is the summary of it. God chose Gideon to deliver Israel from the hands of the Midianites. Gideon was considered to be the least of his father's house. God instructed him to destroy the altar of Baal and to construct a new altar to him. This caused the Midianites and the Amalekites to seek revenge on the Israelites. They called together a massive army of about 135,000 men and camels in vast numbers. Gideon's army was only 32,000. And these 32,000 men in it, this was a great concern to him and his men. God then told Gideon his army was too big. So they were less than a third of the size. And he says, no, it's too big. God told Gideon to tell the men who had the greatest fear to be sent home. And 10,000 men left. They were sent home. So now they're down to 22,000 men. Again, way smaller than the 135,000 of the enemy. Then God spoke to Gideon and said, that 22,000 is still too small. Still too many. So Gideon said he didn't know how to reduce the numbers. God reduced the numbers by having Gideon send men to the river to drink in 3 different groups. Out of 3 groups, God told Gideon, whoever laps the water like a dog, basically goes like this and laps it like a dog, with cupped hands. There wasn't very many of them doing this. Only 300 men did that. So 300 out of the 22,000, that means 21,700 left. Down to 300. Gideon was concerned, but he had great faith in God because God said, I will deliver Israel with these 300 men. Then Gideon and one of his men went to the enemy camp and overheard a dream that one of the enemies had about a biscuit of barley that rolled into the enemy camp and turned over and destroyed the tent. One little biscuit. The dream was interpreted by another person that was in the army, right, for their enemy, and Gideon realized that the biscuit was their army, their 300 people, and that that small army would overtake the vast numbers of the enemy. God instructed Gideon to give each man an empty pot and a lamp in it with a trumpet, and instruct them to follow Gideon's lead and do as he did. So think about that. They're going to war against multiple times more, and they're having a lamp and a jar. The 300 positioned themselves around the perimeter of the camp, split them into like 100 each. They all sounded the trumpets, and they broke the glass as well when Gideon told them to. By sounding the trumpets, they caused massive confusion. They also yelled out for God and Gideon. And later they yelled out again. They were instructed, and it was like they yelled out, the sword of the Lord and Gideon a second time, as they had turned the lamps on, and they broke all the glass and blew the trumpets, shouted out. This greatly reduced their numbers, and they fled because they thought there were many more Israelites in Gideon's army. Gideon and his 300 pursued them, and then the other Israelites joined in. And the enemy actually started stabbing and killing themselves. That's what God's causing confusion. That's what happened, I believe, right now to the Cabal. He's causing confusion within the Cabal. They're fighting each other, just like they tried to kill the Lee family, right? And they're just confusion throughout everything. They finally caught up to Zebah and Zalmunna and the other 10 kings and cut off their thumbs and big toes. Some of them they actually executed. They were taken to Jerusalem, and where they died. The Midianites and the other armies that raised the sword against God's army were reduced to 15,000 men. They actually have wiped these guys out as well. So these 135,000 soldiers, you can see just down to 15,000, so 120,000 of them in this battle with 300 men. Now, a lot of them came out later after they had already entered the camp, and they scattered everywhere. God saved Israel, and the glory went to him. God is saving America, and the glory goes to him. Always study for yourself to ensure that what we are being told is true. And he ends with 2 Timothy 5:15. I forgot to look that up, so we'll do that right now. So again, one of my favorite ways to just find scripture is I just like to go to Bible.com. And when I go to Bible.com, you can use any of the versions. That's one thing I love about this Bible.com, because you can actually go to here to read the Bible. You can also follow me. I got a little Q hat on here, and follow Blessed to Teach, and you can see all my favorite verses that I've. That's BibleMemory.com. Here you can just do reading plans with me and other stuff. But this is Judges 7, etc. He was talking about searching for 2 Timothy 2:15. I think this will work from here from the read. But you can also get there from here. 2 Timothy 2:15. There it is. So there it is. Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. Whew. Thank you, Gene, for this awesome decode. And there's some pictures here.
Thank you so much for God and country. Trump with the armor of God.
And there he
Psalm
is.
of David, I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard me cry. He drew me up from the desolate pit, out of the miry bog, and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Many will see and fear and put their trust in the Lord. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust. He does not turn to be proud. To those who go astray after false gods. And then I put this video. I recommend everybody watch this.
The best is yet to come. And this is a YouTube video here that is 3 minutes and 42 seconds. So we want to play it, Gene, or has it got?
If you would like.
Let's wrap it up here. Then we'll wrap it up here.
America is a land of heroes, a place where greatness is born, where destinies are forged, and where legends come to life. This is the home of Thomas Edison and Teddy Roosevelt, of many great generals, including Washington, Pershing, Patton, and MacArthur. This is the home of Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, Amelia Earhart, Harriet Tubman, the Wright brothers, Neil Armstrong, and so many more. This is the country where children learn names like Wyatt Earp, Davy Crockett, and Annie Oakley. This is the place where the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, and where Texas patriots made their last stand at the Alamo. The American nation was carved out of the vast frontier by the toughest, strongest, fiercest, and most determined men and women ever to walk on the face of the earth. Our ancestors braved the unknown, tamed the wilderness, settled the Wild West, lifted millions from poverty, disease, and hunger, vanquished tyranny and fascism, ushered the world to new heights of science and medicine, laid down the railroads, dug out the canals, raised up the skyscrapers. Our ancestors built the most exceptional republic ever to exist in all of human history, and we are making it greater than ever before. This is our glorious and magnificent inheritance. We are Americans, we are pioneers, we are the pathfinders. We settled the new world, we built the modern world, and we changed history forever by embracing the eternal truth that everyone is made equal by the hand of Almighty God. America is the place where anything can happen. America is the place where anyone can rise. And here, on this land, on this soil, on this continent, the most incredible dreams come true. This nation is our canvas, and this country is our masterpiece. We look at tomorrow and see unlimited frontiers just waiting to be explored. Our brightest discoveries are not yet known. Our most thrilling stories are not yet told. Our grandest journeys are not yet made. The American age, the American epic, the American adventure has only just begun. Our spirit is still young, the sun is still rising, God's grace is still shining, and my fellow Americans, the best is yet to come.
Wow. Wow, what a decode, Gene.
Thank you, Rick. And then if you go back to the decode at the bottom, please, sir.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Jesus, I trust in you.
Jesus, I trust in you.
One more, please. Full armor of God.
Look at what's right there. The sword of the Spirit. Got the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation. You've got the righteousness, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, and then obviously on his feet you have the feet fitted with the gospel of peace. Wow. Just awesome. Gene, thank you so much for your hard work. I know it was 2 nights of being up almost all night, both nights.
Thank you, Rick. I think that's it. Scroll down, make sure there's no more.
Then the honor, oops.
One more. Yep, I thought so.
Nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Signed Q+. Donald J. Trump. Whew. Gotta love this. Gene, that is a classic. Over 3,300 people coming on to watch live, and almost 10,000 coming in and out. What an awesome decode. Tell you what, guys, we are just privileged to have. Thank you for your donations to get Gene a computer so he doesn't have to do all-nighters like that. And the decoders, the editors, and thank you for cleaning this up and getting the links all working. That's just such a beautiful and wonderful team effort that this all was.
Yeah, and getting me a computer means my editors aren't up all day too. And my research staff. Thank you for all the contributions. So, we can spread this out to all the people helping me too. Believe me, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, and we will definitely take care of others as well. I wanted to also make sure you guys knew that, just to remind you that if you want to see everything I just showed you, you're going to go to blessedtoteach.com. That's blessedtoteach.com. You can also go to Impact Culture Now to get the top 60 red-pilled patriots that I get most of my information from. And then also there's where the show notes are. You can also just sign up for the list right down here. Be easy. You can also go to, if you need to send me information, contact us. Like if you need a discount because of fixed income on the Backstage, send me an email right here. It says your message. Make sure you subscribe to the BDL list. Hey, one more last thing I want to tell you guys. If you're going to sign up for Backstage and you go in to join me, right, and Gene, when you do that, there's one mistake people are making, and it's really making it hard for them. When they go to sign up, they are not checking this box that says subscribe to our email list. That's the only way you're going to get instructions on how it works. It's the only way I can notify you when something's going on. If you miss that box, you're going to really have a hard time getting on Backstage. So please, and it also unsubscribes you from the email list that you're already on. I have to ask this by law, and it takes you off of all the lists that you already subscribe to. So don't miss that box, okay? That's really caused me quite a bit of work to have to go help people through that. And again, go to blessedtoteach.com, blessed with 2, and join us Backstage or sign up for the show notes. All right, guys. With that, I'm going to lift this up in prayer. Anything else, Gene, before I close her out?
I just want to tell everyone, keep Rick in your prayer, because without him starting this YouTube platform, none of us would be getting this information that's coming to me. I was instructed by God to go to Rick, to pick within 5 people, and I picked Rick, and God brought him to me and us together so I could meet him in person, so that I could share what I know. And I want to say thank you so much, Rick. God bless you. And to all those that are now jumping in to help me catch up with things, God bless each and every one of you, including everyone who gave the contributions. Thank you so much. I'll be doing a show on Kirsten on Friday and on McAllister on Sunday, possibly. I'm doing an interview with her. I don't know when she'll post, but on Kirsten, I'll thank each and every one of you there. We've already gone along, and I thank you, Rick, for keeping it cohesive in one part. I'll read to everybody on the next show that has given contributions to me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you, Oscar. Appreciate that, everybody that's donated. And hey, with that, I just want to lift this up in prayer to just say, wow, what an amazing decode on the Cabal takedown of Gideon's army. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for the work of so many people to pull this together, especially Gene. And Lord, we just pray that you give him rest, that he sleeps well, and is able to recover completely and get on a schedule where he can spend more time with his wife, as well as do these awesome decodes for us. And thank you for sharing his knowledge and expertise with us, Lord. We ask for our blessing on everyone that's listening to my voice right now, these red-pilled patriots, this remnant, this army of God. Lord, please unite us in faith and get rid of the fear. Allow people to do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your request to God and give them the peace that transcends all understanding, that will guard their hearts and minds in Christ Jesus, just like Philippians 4, 6, and 7 tells us, Lord. I pray that over every person, and they will get communication about how you want to use them, Lord. I know that you want to use them to help wake up others. You want to use them to know that that the remnant is praying for the repentance of this nation of what it's done and what we've personally done as sin, Lord. We're so sorry. But Lord, please heal our land. Please eliminate the cabal from our world. Heal our land. And may America be a blessing to all other countries of the world. Use us, Lord. We love you. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Guys, thank you so much. Love you. We'll talk to you next time. You've just listened to the Blessed Teach Show. You're now empowered with the truth. Don't miss the edited short B2T clips on a new channel called B2T Clips. A big thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and PayPal. You are truly appreciated. For the links to these sites, as well as links for show notes, Backstage with Blessed Teach, training courses, and more, visit blessedtoteach.com. That's blessed with the number 2, teach.com. God bless, and be sure to go empower others with the truth.